guys, I wanted to kind of walk you through what this final exam review is going to be about. So again, this is just a completely optional review, but really what it is just like the final exam is going to be hitting these 9 course learning outcomes. Okay, so for instance, I broke it down on the second page here about what you're going to be able to do. So you should know the role of scarcity. Basically, you should be able to define what is scarcity. You should know specialization, like when does a country specialize in something, or when does a person specialize in something. You should be able to know what opportunity cost is. Remember, that is what you are giving up to do something. So by you going to class, you're giving up sleeping. By you deciding to go to college, you're giving up wages at another job. Okay? So the opportunity cost, you should be able to identify what is an opportunity cost. The next one is the cost and benefit analysis. So basically, why do you do anything? Because you're going to benefit, and you're going to benefit as much as it's going to cost you. So your marginal benefits and your marginal cost. That's what we're looking at with cost benefit analysis. The next one is determinants of supply and demand. So basically, you're going to look at something and say, okay, that's going to affect demand. It's going to increase it or decrease it. And because that happens, that changes the price and quantity. So you need to know the determinants of supply and demand. The next thing is you need to know how the shifts will affect the price and output. So because demand goes up, price goes up, quantity goes up as well. Because supply goes down, price goes up, quantity goes down. So that's what you need to be able to do. You need to summarize the law of diminishing marginal utility. Basically, the more you consume, you are happier, but it is at a decreasing rate. So your total utility is just how happy you are. Your diminishing marginal utility is saying, yes, as you consume more things, you are happier, but as you consume more, the extra happiness you get is decreasing. So your total utility is increasing at a decreasing rate. The next thing is describe the process of utility maximization. So basically what's happening here is that marginal benefits are marginal cost. That's what you're trying to maximize there. If we're doing two goods, it's the same idea, but we're going to have to look at maximizing both at the same time. And there's a formula for that. The next thing is you need to know the different elasticities: price elasticity, income, and cross price. You need to know basically what's going to make something more elastic, more inelastic. You need to know how elasticity is going to change total revenue. So basically, because something is elastic, price increases. How does that change total revenue? The next thing is describing what the production function is. Remember, that is you're taking inputs and then determining what your output will be. Okay, so you take all your inputs and then you can figure out, well, because we have 2 labors and 1 machine, then that will produce this amount of output. Okay, if we had more labor, we can have more production. So the production function is just basically looking at the inputs that you have and then determining how many outputs you can make. The diminishing marginal productivity. So basically, if we had more people in one kitchen, the more people we add, yeah, you're going to be able to make more stuff, but eventually we're going to get to where, you're having too many people in the kitchen and you can't really do as much as before. So yeah, you're able to make more things, but as you add more people, the marginal is going to be decreasing. You need to be able to calculate the short run cost. So ATC, AVC, AFC, marginal cost, you need to be able to do those. You also need to know what the long run average cost is, okay, and what that is telling you about in terms of economies of scale, diseconomies of scale. You need to know everything about perfect competition, what it is, and how to graph it. More importantly, you need to be able to know what profit max is. So on the graph there, right, everything we talked about there, you need to be able to do that. The next thing is the same thing with monopoly. Identify what it is and draw the graph with a profit max on it. The next thing is monopolistic competition. So same deal there. Identify what it is, the characteristics, and then know what the profit max is. The next thing is identifying what an oligopoly is. That's the only thing you have to do there. We need to know the profit max, price, and quantity for a perfectly for a perfectly competitive factor market. So basically, in the labor market, if it's perfectly competitive, how many labor do they hire? We need to do the same thing for an imperfect factor market. For example, a monopsony, how many people do they hire? We need to talk about government efforts to address market failures. So, how does a government address monopolies? What are regulations there? How do they fix externalities, negative or positive? How do they change or allocate the resources to get to the social optimal? And then finally, the public goods. Okay, so what does the government do in terms of public goods? Finally, there's the benefits of free trade. So remember, this is where a country's producing at a point, and then they have to change production because they want to specialize and trade. So they change production, and then they trade. So they sell and buy whatever they want. Okay, and whatever it is at that new point there, that will show you your gains from trade. And then finally, comparative advantage. Remember, the comparative advantage was where we had our chart, okay? And then we try to figure out, okay, well, how much does one oil cost? So we had to divide by both sides to get one oil is equal to 10 corn, right? So that's what we had to do there, is we had to look at what we had and figure out, well, what is the cost of making one of something? All right, so that is basically the course learning outcomes broken down. So now you should be able to do those things. Okay? So this next part here is the optional part. So this is just a big list of different review questions. Okay, and all of these are designed to really help you out in terms of, for the exam. So basically what all I did was I started at the beginning of the lecture slides and I said, okay, you need to know that, you need to know that. So if you went through all the lecture slides and you were going to be able to find the answer to all of these. This is an optional assignment if you wanted to have an extra exam grade to really boost up your final grade. And it's all really going to help you out in terms of studying. So like I said, it's 65 questions and it's broken down into different things that you should know. Okay? Just make it simple for yourself. For example, economies of scale, what is that? Okay, so I don't need a big explanation about what it is. Just make it simple enough for a study guide. That's it. Okay. So that is it for the review. Best of luck to you. Okay, I know you can do it. All right, good luck.